Welcome to the Strategy Mob Podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Strategy with Jason. Today, I have a very special guest from the stock room of his dealership. You're in the file room. Sorry, the file room. Because you guys are growing so fast. I have Nathanael with me today. And Nathanael, thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me. This is going to be a real fun conversation today.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And I got to say, I love your studio because orange is my favorite color.
You know what? Orange was completely by accident. I sold my dealership. I started the agency. I had a graphic designer at the time, and I said, I need a business card. We don't have a logo. I'm like, okay, we'll just go make something, whatever it is. And sure enough, she came back with this black design, and it was an orange logo, and it just stuck. And I've never been able to get away from it ever since then. But yeah, it's been a heck of a ride. Hey, before we get into kind of the main conversations, because we have some fun conversations about content creation and branding and how we scale ourselves. For everyone out there that's watching and listening right now and kind of don't know who you are and kind of how you got started in the industry, I always think it's fun to start out these podcasts with a little origin story. So Nathanael, how did you get started in this crazy little world we call the automotive industry?
So this is very awkward for me because I like to, even though I'm always on Facebook Lives and different things like that, you almost have that imposter syndrome. And I always think about this when I'm on Clubhouse, and I'm pretty sure that's how we met.
Yeah.
But so let's see. I was working for a for-profit giving company called Twill. And I was actually just creating videos for them. I was using a GoPro 5. And nice. I was just trying my best, making some videos for them, going out, selling their product. And I wasn't really making any money, but I knew that I needed some type of job. So I started working valet. And so I'm doing these two jobs. And then one day I'm doing something with Twill, and they get sponsored by this dealership called Mohawk Honda. And one of the salespeople knew that I liked technology, knew that I was very handy with a camera, and I knew what I was doing in the technology space. And he goes, "Hey, we're hiring delivery specialists. Would you want to apply?" Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sure.
I'm not making anything really right now. And my knees are starting to kill me from running 16 miles a day doing valet. So, yeah, why not? Let's try it out. So I get the interview, and I start working at Mohawk Honda as a delivery specialist.
Uh-huh.
And then, that's not going to stay there. Notice that they're doing stuff on Facebook. They're posting delivery pictures every single time a delivery happens. And for a dealership like them to post that many times, they're selling 600 cars. 400, 500, 600 cars has steadily increased as I started working here. And you just can't do that on social media. Nobody, I hate to say it, but nobody cares that you're going to sell that many cars that you're posting 20 times a day. After a while, you start losing followers. So I came up with the idea, hey, maybe you guys should start doing this, and group them all together. That was like the initial step. So then Honda comes out with this walk around competition.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a walk around competition 2 or 3 years ago. And they know that I started doing a little bit of things on my computer. I brought in my laptop during my work hours to help them create logo spins that didn't really look that good, but I was trying. So they knew that I had some type of video capability, and I start using an iPhone 5 to shoot these videos on. And I created the edit for all of those, sent them in. Funny story. One of them got picked. Great. And so one of them gets picked, and then actually, wait, hold on, I think I skipped ahead.
I love the
Crap.
fact that you're just kind of you're sitting back there in the corner like, hey, you know something about this video stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, the funny part is we were literally in the corner of the dealership. All the the delivery specialists were in the corner,
Of
and
course.
there was an empty desk next to us, and I just popped on my computer to start working on stuff, and so that happened, and then I started meeting up with someone for a mentor, and he pretty much told me, I was like, man, I really think this is a good idea. I think I'm going to call it Chief Digital Branding Leader because I want to be the leader. I'm going to have my own business page and show the salespeople that they can do it themselves. And I'm going to help them along the way. And I'm going to handle the social for Mohawk Honda. And we're going to crush it. I don't think I said
That's
crush
awesome.
it,
We're just
but
gonna do it.
I was very enthusiastic about wanting to do this for them because I saw the space. I saw that there was an opportunity needed. And I was looking around at other dealerships' social medias, and we were kind of the only ones that were doing real posting in sense of a lot of hard selling, soft selling, and then a little bit of the in between culture stuff. And I'm a firm believer, and my GM, my dealer principals, they're all in about showcasing the people because people are what sell
that's
vehicles.
100%
It's
key,
not,
right? Like this
not
is
anything
a
like
people
that.
business. And you know, I think
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why we actually kind of connected because I remember I think we were on Clubhouse, aka Crack House.
AKA.
And dude, I got a notification the other day from my screen time. I don't know about you, but like I spent like 17 and a
4
half
hours a day for me.
Yeah, I spent like 17 and a half hours in 1 week. And like someone told me they were like 31 hours in there. And I'm like, dude, that ain't right. But one of the reasons I wanted to jump on here was just because you guys as a dealership have done an amazing job of really
Right.
kind of branding. And it comes down to people, like you were saying. It's that people element. It's so cool listening to your origin story, Nathaniel, because it reminds me so much kind of my own, right? You had an iPhone 5. I used a Kodak flip cam with a 1 megapixel camera recording at 360p. So that just kind of shows.
Do you remember the flip videos?
Yes. That's
Yeah. So a GoPro 5 and a flip video, and then
that's exactly
not really
what it
using
was.
that for the walkarounds, and then using an iPhone 7. Someone literally has a picture of me with the iPhone and a selfie stick that I'm literally holding on my shoulder like a shoulder rig. So I could get a cool shot. You know, it's crazy.
Well,
but
that just
now-
goes to show your commitment to the craft, right? And it's funny to hear that you were kind of back in this corner. It was like I was a salesperson at the time, and it was 2003, and they walked to me and they go, "You know something about this internet thing, right?" And I'm like, yeah, sure. I know something about this internet.
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
Like we want to create our department, and that's how kind of my career says. So it's so cool to kind of hear that. Now for you guys, branding seems to be a way more an important strategy than I would say marketing. You know, for most dealerships, I would say
Yep.
over 70%, maybe over 80%, maybe even higher of dealerships out there, all right, focus all their strategic efforts on marketing, acquisition. I gotta acquire, right? I call it the PPC crack, right? Like I gotta get my fix, need to get my fix. But you guys have not, right? And you guys
Right.
have really kind of embraced that marathon or that long-term strategy of branding. I'm curious on how the heck you were able to get a dealerships, most dealerships are focused so much on their marketing. How you transition from marketing over to branding? How'd that conversation go?
So it's awesome because it was very easy actually.
Well, that's good.
My GM, my owner. So it starts from the top down. Owners have to buy in. They have to know. It's not even buy in. They have to realize it's not some secret. You know, you have to buy in
there's
that
no quick
people
fix.
are the biggest asset.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget the statement that Jeff Harridan, owner of Mohawk Honda, and vice president, he owns it with his brother Steve Harridan. And but I heard Jeff say this one day, and it's, I don't want to ever have an advertisement that I just throw in the bucket because it just goes away. I want to make sure that the people are out there because it was along the lines of advertisements are just you're just throwing money. That's it.
Yeah,
But
you're
when
just
you
burning it.
include your people, you're creating that, you're connecting with the community, and that is the main strive, is connecting with the community, because the community is who's buying the cars. Nobody understands that for some reason. I don't understand why people don't understand, or dealers don't understand that. I'm so fortunate to work at a dealership where the dealers understand that the community are the actual people who are buying the vehicles from you.
Well, they're the engine that keeps us fed, right? Like,
yeah.
kind of without them, we don't really have much of a business, but look, I'm with you though. I am blown away how many dealerships will spend tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, millions of dollars a year, on messages that have a shelf life of this amount of time.
I know.
The shelf life of those messages are 30 days, and then poof, it's gone. Poof, it's gone. And it's like, now I got to do it all over again. And it's this insane, vicious cycle. And with branding, you don't do that. To your point, you said earlier, you have this picture of your commitment to a video of, from years ago of you having that rig or pretending to kind of have a rig over your shoulder. But those are the types of messages that go out and they last forever. You can use that thing. You can use that one single picture, that one single image, all right, for the next 10 years.
Right.
Once you can throw it out and just say, I remember this, right? And it's not like I can take an ad, all right, from last year and post it this year and say, hey, you guys remember this? And anyone actually give a damn.
Right.
So
that's the thing.
It is. And it's all about the people. Now, I want to go back to the community thing, because how do you connect the dots? I think a lot of times I see dealerships that will go into branding and then they make it all about themselves. They don't make it about their community. Yeah. You've done a great job of the opposite of that. How do people do that?
Well, you have to think like your community. What do they want to see? No one cares that you're going to post about a walk around on a 2016 Acura that you're going to sell.
Wait, Nathanael, can you just say that one more time for everybody out there that's watching and listening right now? Can you say that no one cares that...
No one cares that you're selling this old vehicle that's used in pre-owned. They have to know the why. Yes. Why should they care? And this is what we've tried it, and that's the only reason I'm saying it. We've done many walkarounds on used car vehicles, because that was all that they could think of. That's all that I could think of, because there's what we had right in the lot. What can I go shoot right now? And I will say it's very good to get salespeople's feet wet, and it's very good to showcase on your personal Facebook if it's you doing the walk around and you're sending it to someone who is actually interested, who says, hey, I'm really interested in this. Boom. Now you can say, so this is for the salesperson out there who's listening, or a sales manager who's managing salespeople. If you have a customer assigned to a salesperson who gets the exact car and does a walk around on this vehicle, and then posts it to his Facebook, says, hey, everybody, I made this vehicle for so-and-so because he's looking at it. I can do the same for you. Let me know how I can help. That's a whole nother story. But really as a dealership, it's, hey, look, we have this vehicle. Oh, wow, cool. You're a car dealership. You have cars? That's cool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So then you go into the community. So now we're getting into, what does the community want? Well, what happened during the pandemic? Restaurants shut down, right? Boom. There's an opportunity for you to be a community partner and not just say, hey, we're selling cars. Say, hey, we're actually part of the community. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to give away $50 gift cards. Partner.
I know I jump in every once in a while, but I just want to make sure everyone that's watching and listening really kind of, I want to, that's a big one. Okay. Because a lot of people, I think they go into this and they don't necessarily understand, like when they're making content, they make the content for themselves, not for their community. And, if you're going to make content for others, then you actually need to be a community partner. I mean, how many dealerships out there that say, I'm a part of my community. I sponsor the hockey team, and I park my cars at the Rib Fest every single year. I'm like,
So showcase it, put people on the ground.
Exactly. Connect with them. Actually
Sorry,
be it.
I
No,
get
go ahead.
fired
Go
up.
ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Give me a couple
Really
great examples that you guys have
is,
done. Give me a couple great examples of you guys have done this, because I know there are a handful, but when was some of the most successful campaigns I think you've run that it really was more about community partnership?
So community partnership, let's see. Every single time we help out a non-for-profit or even some charitable for-profit, or all right, let's go. Sorry, there's so many that we've done.
Yeah.
Pet adoption. This is coming up. When will they hear this podcast?
Within the next week.
Okay. So I'm just going to throw this out there. What is the date of this February? I don't have the calendar in front of me.
Today's the 10th.
So Thursday, the 12th. So February 12th, we're doing a pet adoption live on our Facebook pages, Mohawk Honda, Mohawk Chevrolet. And this came about because we couldn't do our normal biannual pet adoption where all of the shelters come into our dealership and people go and look for animals, because the shelters have no outlet. They have one person who might throw a picture of a puppy up there, and they're doing the best they can. And we decided to partner with them, and now we're doing them every other month.
That's cool.
Because we have the tools, and those are getting so much engagement because, let's be honest, everybody loves animals.
Well, and it's real, but it's showing that you are people too, right? Like you've said it a couple of times, and I think we've said it a couple of times in this podcast. This is a people business, but we say that, and then if you look in our marketing efforts or you look on our website, there's one freaking page. There's one page that actually has people on it, and it's usually the staff page. And sometimes those staff pages are so bad, it looks like people, like their mug shots, or they have no picture. I love the avatars. Yeah. I love the avatars where there's like no pictures. But hey, we're a people business, and we dedicated one single page to our people. But
I handle
you guys
the pictures for our website. It's not easy. I'll give them some slack on that. I'll give them a little bit of mercy and grace for that one. It's, we have to schedule the time for the person to be ready, and then, oh, I'm not ready. I got to get my hair cut. I want to look good, all those different things. But yeah, we are in the people business. And all right, so we'll go to the second one. And that's what I was just talking about with the $50 gift card giveaways.
Yes.
So we go live, and we were talking about this earlier about the Mevo. We bring a better production than just our phone. Now, our phone is great. Don't get me wrong. This phone can be used to shoot 4K video. So if anyone's scared about, oh no, I think I need to buy a camera to start a video. No, start with your phone first. And then as you get better in creating videos, get better equipment. That's all right. Sorry. So
no, that makes sense.
We go to the restaurants, we go to the different businesses, we buy, we don't ask them for anything. We want to buy the card. We want to give it away. We want to give it away because we know that they're struggling. We don't ask anything from them. Now, since we've started the $50, we've gone to $100 because we know how much more they are in need. And that's just being aware of your surroundings. Who's local around you that you can help out.
Well, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about going live, because you guys do a great job of that. And there's so much fear, for dealerships out there to go live. So what are some of your live best practices?
Live best practices. Well, first one, just do it. Don't overanalyze it.
That's right. Just freaking do it.
2, make sure you have a good personality, and as people hop onto your live, you could be going through. So if we were on live right now and I could see people up on stage and we're going back and forth, I would say, oh, hey, Alicia, thanks for hopping on. We're talking about this. Hey, so glad that you hopped on with us. That's where you make that connection when you're doing the lives. And it's way more than, I would take the advertising budget, cut it in half, and just go live in your community. Give all of that money you could back into your community rather than selling, hey, it's 0% APR. Because you know who's going to do that? Your competitors. Yep. They'll tell you that for you. So not only will you take their money and use it because everybody will know about the 0% APR, and you have your capital region who also tells them that. So why do you have to do it? You need to brand yourself because you are different. So there's that.
You know what?
Two things.
I think there's two things. I think there is an element of, hey, suck it up, Buttercup, and just hit the red button, and
or if it's on your phone, it's blue.
Yeah, okay, yes, all right, yes, the blue button. My bad. You know what? And I got to be honest with you, I'm not even overly great about going live, and I need to be a lot better at it. But it is that. I find to do it and execute it correctly, it's a routine, right? And you guys have done an amazing job of creating a routine out of it, where it's like, even just before we got on this podcast, it was your time. It was the routine time for you guys to go live, right? What were you guys going live with today?
All right, so today's the 10th. We thought to ourselves, man, what's coming up? Well, Valentine's Day is coming up. What are local restaurants doing? Oh, there's a restaurant in Saratoga, New York, that is doing a package for $350 where you get a $90 meal for free, and we are buying them a suite to stay at overnight, which is right across the parking lot. So we're giving that away, and that's what they were going live for. The Valentine's Day getaway. I
love it.
Up so many times. I've done it on live. It's embarrassing.
Now, one of the things that we got talking about a little bit before we started recording, and I was surprised, but also very pleasantly surprised to hear that one of your, I guess, roles or responsibilities within the dealership is helping salespeople with their branding efforts. And I think that's so cool. I mean, I would love to see that role within the dealership more often. How do you help how do you help salespeople with their branding efforts?
How do we help? So what we do is we help them set up their own business Facebook. And what I tell everybody, your customers are great. Yes, they're awesome. They purchase from you, but not everybody you want to be your friend. Yeah. You want to have a close circle. It's okay to have a close circle. Become an influencer in your community, so you can say, hey, check out my Facebook business page. I do this. I go through tutorials. Also check out Mohawk Honda. Check out Mohawk Chevrolet's page, because they're giving you tons of tips on how to buy cars. They're giving you tons of tips. And we're always in the community. We're always doing giveaways to help out the local community in any way we can. So go ahead and check that out. That's step one, is to set up that business page so they can tell their customers, hey, I have this page and this is my hashtag. That's another thing. We're starting to help out all of our salespeople come up with their own hashtags. So the most recent one that I really love is hashtag Deals by Dre. What's the first thing you think of?
Beats by Dre. Yeah, that's awesome.
There it is. Bingo. So her name is Andriana Bannon, but we all call her Dre. And that was the aha moment. Holy smokes, I can't believe we did that.
I like that. I like each dealership, because I kind of have it's funny. I like that every salesperson having their branded hashtag. I started using the hashtag Bell to Bell a long time ago, because we have a not-for-profit where we donate all of our profits and for swag that we sell, and it's from Bell to Bell, and so that I've been using that for a long time, and I've never even, at this point I've almost forgotten why I continue to use it, but it still gets used on such a regular basis. But I think that's really cool. What
makes you Googleable?
That's very true. It does. Yes.
That's what it does.
Googleable. Did you say Googleable? Googleable.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that word. That's going to be word of the day.
So just think, everywhere you put a hashtag is going to show up in Google.
That's true.
It's not rocket science, friends. It's crazy. I guess it is, but not really.
I find with a lot of salespeople is that they just don't they don't necessarily understand what it means to brand themselves, and a lot of times they think branding themselves has to do with what they do for a living. It's like, well, I'm a car salesman. Like, my brand's going to be about selling cars, and I find that not always necessarily to be true, because I'm thinking from a consumer's perspective, going back to what we were talking about earlier about like doing it for the community. Again, what you're doing is you're doing it for your branding, but you as a good brander, you're branding something that you're passionate about, and that may not necessarily be car sales. In fact, actually, some of the best salespeople brands I've seen out there. One gentleman, he's an angler, a fisherman, a retired professional fisherman. and he sells
Yeah.
trucks. But all of his social efforts, all of his brand is not about how he sells trucks. It's just his passion for fishing. But because of his passion for fishing connect with so many more people, his audience is massive. And he sells 10 to 15 trucks a month from that audience because people are connected to him on a passion. How do you what would say best practices of how to help salespeople find their passion and document that passion?
Man, well, whew,
Yeah, I know, right?
it's real deep. It's real deep. You got to take inventory. You got to take inventory of what you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to incorporate it onto your business page. You have to incorporate it on your desk if you have a sales desk. You have to incorporate it everywhere in everyday life. You got to figure out your passion, what you want to do. You know, I actually love paintball.
Nice.
And I'm getting into this thing called MagFed paintball. It literally looks like an AR-15, but it shoots paintballs. It's amazing.
Sounds
you can literally
fun.
do like strategic games and different things like that. And I don't know, maybe I'll brand myself as a paintball. Maybe I'll own a paintball thing one day. But I would brand it. Let's see. If I wanted to go, we're just gonna do this is like live role playing. If I wanted to go, let's see.
Well, like I'll give you a quick example. Like I have a sales manager, all right, that has a business page. Okay. And his business page does all right. It's him professionally, but then he also has a food Instagram page, which has several 100,000 followers. And his passion is food. And for the longest time, he actually kept these brands separate from each other. And the second I heard this, I was like, absolutely not. Like that people need to know that yes, your passion is around food, and his in particular is chicken sandwiches. He's just a chicken sandwich fanatic. I don't quite necessarily understand it, but he just
awesome.
he's out for he's hunting for the world's best chicken sandwich, and so that's a lot of his content around.
He should give one of his customers a chicken sandwich every time they buy a car.
we did actually host a day where we actually had a food truck come in and actually just do chicken sandwiches, so that was actually a lot of fun. But this funny thing is once he started connecting those audiences together, all right, his business audience went through the roof. Yeah. And it was because people were comfortable connecting with him because his passion for chicken sandwiches, but then they also were like, oh, well, man, I didn't know you did that. I want to connect with you there as well. And it's gotten to the point now where actually the two brands have actually become one. But I find that a lot of salespeople out there are afraid to do that. They think that the brand has to only be about selling cars. What do you think?
Yeah, and that's definitely something you just hit the nail on the head. You have to bring them together. People have to realize that you're not just a salesperson, and that's why you create your business. That's why you create your Facebook business in the first place, is to let people know, hey, I'm actually a normal person.
That's right.
I don't just sell cars.
Yeah, I'm actually a real person. I'm not just a robot, right?
Yeah, I don't just take orders. I help you. I'm a professional. Yeah, I'm going to find you the right car. I'm going to make it affordable, and I'm going to give you the gold standard of customer service. But on the other hand, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go light you up with some paintballs too. I'm going to make you a chicken sandwich. And, I actually learned that Googleable thing from Jonathan Dawson and the hashtag. I don't know if he's popped up in your podcast at all.
Oh, yes.
Psychology. But he has a guy who sticks out to me called the Pickle Guy or Pickle Man. It's literally known as the Pickle Man. People come into the dealership and say, hey, I'm looking for the Pickle Man. And everybody knows who he is. Because when you buy a car from him, he gives you a bucket of pickles.
He gives you a bucket of pickles.
What? That's amazing. I want a bucket of pickles. I might just buy a car for the bucket of pickles. To say, man, I bought a car and look what I got. It's just.
But I love it though, because you know what though, it humanizes us. And when I really think about it, all right, we want to connect with people at a human to human level. And I think this is one of the biggest opportunities salespeople have when they start branding themselves, is that you can actually show the rest of the world that you're a human too, and you're not a salesman.
Yeah.
Look, there's a stigma about being a car salesman, okay? And
Absolutely.
if you can break that stigma very, very quickly by having that brand online, now I would say maybe stay away from politics because I've seen that go the wrong way.
Yeah.
So actually, let's do that real quick before we kind of close off because I know we're getting towards the tail end of our time. Let's talk about branding no-nos.
Let's talk first about how dealerships need to have their own social media person in house.
Yes.
This is, oh man, this is my number one. Like, I'm probably going to create a business one day. I'm going to go around to every single dealership and I'm going to consult and tell them why they need a social media person. But
100%.
I'm just so passionate about it because I know the effects to the point where I have a team of 3 now for 2 dealerships and a collision center. It's not just me anymore. So we just have to, oh man, if we can, people, we were talking about salesperson.
Yep.
Let's go to the dealership. People need to realize that people work at the dealership. You need to humanize your dealership. You can't just post hard sell. Hey, look, we have this car. Hey, look, we have this car. Hey, look, buy our tires. Hey, look, buy this, buy that. Nobody cares. We can buy stuff anywhere. I could buy tires online if I wanted to.
100%.
But if I go and say, hey, look at Ashley Dobbs. She's one of our service advisors. She's been here for this long. She loves helping out her customers to make sure that you are safe on the road. What?
No, it's true. It's connecting people. And this is why I kind of say, I think it's a great, kind of starting point for a lot of dealerships out there that are looking to understand branding, understand that people is the core of all your branding efforts, is first take a look at your website. All right. If there's only one page on your entire website, we were talking about this a little earlier, if there's only one page that has anything to do with your people, that's the first thing you got to fix. Because your mindset has to totally change, right? Like when someone comes into your physical dealership, people learn pretty quickly this is a people business. Wow, look at all these happy people, smiling people. They're having fun, they're joking. You can feel the energy. But I get it, that my first impression of you is going to be A, your website, and then B is going to be your social efforts, which to your point before, right? So it's like, I always kind of say like start there, then kind of go over and work on the webs, on the social media side. Look, you just taking pictures of cars that you sell, that's not people. Like we have to connect with them and people, but there are some definite no-nos when to come to social posting. I've seen some pretty bad ones. There's actually a dealer principal that got, I know of that got ripped pretty bad for personally posting something that was very, let's say, a politics specific, and it then ended up trickling over to his other brand, being his dealership. So I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on posting no-nos.
So you have to think about yourself if you're on social media and you work for a car dealership or you work for a business that, I mean, everybody on social, that's why I say you need to have your own personal Facebook, one. Because if it's your personal Facebook, you choose who you want to be your friends. Boom. Step one. Obviously, I have to monitor that as well. If someone says something, and it blows up, I obviously have to be aware of that. But it's their personal page. They're free to say whatever they want. Exactly. I can't control them. I can ask them to take it down. I mean, but if they're going to have their own business page and link it. So, for instance, Travis Landry is one of our salesperson. Travis Landry at Mohawk Chevrolet. If he's going to link it with our name, I mean, and everywhere you go, you're a brand ambassador for the job you work at. So you have to be cautious. And let's be honest, you're not going to win any fight over social media. It's just never going to happen. Doesn't matter what side you're on. If you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, I don't even know the 700 other politics out there. It just doesn't work. Sit down with somebody, give them a call and talk about it. You don't have to write 7 pages worth of something on your Facebook page. One, you're going to get people all fired up. You're going to get fired up.
Yep.
You're going to spend 6 hours trying to type something out in the comments about how to defend your position of why you think this should happen. It's honestly not worth it. Even if you think it's worth it, just think of how much time you're going to spend trying to defend it over and over and over again. What is it really worth to you?
Exactly.
That the whole world knows that you're a Republican, you're a Democrat. Come on.
Well, that
Let's be
goes back to
adults.
what we were talking about earlier. Is that when you're a content creator, you have a responsibility making content for your audience, not for yourself. So
Correct.
as long as you kind of maintain that mindset, all right, then I think you're usually you're going to be safe. You're going to be safe as long as
Yeah.
you know that you're making it for others and not for yourself. Hey, Nathaniel, I know it's getting towards the tail end of our time, and we can easily go for another hour. I'm confident of that.
Absolutely.
But before I
It's
let you go, though, for everyone out there that's watching and listening and would love to kind of connect with you or the dealership and kind of, learn more about yourself in the dealership, what's the best way to connect with you?
all right. So there's a few things. You can either find me on Clubhouse,
Yes.
and all my social medias are in there. And I do a Clubhouse room 7:30 building brand legends. And we just talk about how people can build their brand. We give you practical, tactical tips. That's step one. If you're not on Clubhouse, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Hit me up. I'm also on Twitter, Nathanael Greklek. My business page on Facebook is just Nathanael, Nathanael in New York. My @ is Nerdy Nate with a 3, so I can be easily found out. Apparently there's another Nathanael out there who has some amount of followers. I'm going to surpass him one day, but I'm not there yet.
Nice.
On Instagram, it's N_Greklek. You can find me. That's my business Instagram. I do have a personal Instagram, like I said, because I have to control who I want to share the pictures with my 3-month-old daughter who is growing up. So they'll be on there every now and then, but I love my family. I want to keep them safe. And as things progress, people start to know who I am because I'm trying to help out as many as I can. It just happens. People start to know who you are, and you got to keep them safe with that. So N_Greklek on Instagram. Hit me up with a DM. I'd love to talk to you. And Mohawk Honda, Mohawk Chevrolet, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat for Mohawk Honda, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We're on all of those.
You're everywhere. Everywhere you can find Nathaniel. Hey,
We're
Nathaniel.
omnipresent.
You're omnipresent. That's right. Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me today. This has been a lot of fun. You have yourself an amazing day.
Thank you. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for everyone listening. I hope you found some value in it.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy Mob Podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Don't want to miss new content? Be sure to sign up to be a mobster at strategymob.com to stay in the know. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.